Psalm 107 verses 4 to 7 deal with prophecies as well as history. Psalm 107:4-7, they wandered in the wilderness in a desolate way, they found no city to dwell in. 5 Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted in them. 6 Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them out of their distresses. 7 And he led them forth by the right way, that they might go to a city for a dwelling place. Remember that Psalm 107 begins a parallel to the book of Deuteronomy, the last book of the Pentateuch written by Moses. Israel finds itself wandering in a wilderness, where all around was only a barren land. The word wilderness in the scriptures refers to a desolate, inhospitable, uninhabited region, usually destitute of trees, of springs, and watercourses, unlike our use of the word which denotes an area or a region of extensive forests. They were lost in the worst possible place, even as the sinner is who is lost in sin. They wandered up and down the desert in vain searches for an insatiable desire to escape and achieve an elusive goal. Again, just as the lost sinner whose vision is limited to the things of this world which are passing away does, especially when they become aware of their tenuous status and the vanity of their acquired estate. Search as they may, apart from Christ it will end in nothing, and they will continue in their wilderness wandering throughout their unfulfilled lives though they had hoped to escape from it. The loneliness of a desert is perhaps the most depressing influence upon the man who is lost in a sea of boundless waste. They found no city where they would be received in a hospitable manner to dwell in. Here we have the most illustrative of metaphors. The Israelites who are out of the land are being compared to a traveler in a dreary, uninhabited, and barren desert, spent with hunger and thirst, as well as by the fatigues of the journey. This section of the psalm also deals with the fulfillment of a prophecy that is still in motion. The confirmation is found in Deuteronomy 28:64-66, where God has already told the Israelites that they would be scattered because of their sins. Verses 64-66 reads, Then the Lord will scatter you among all peoples from one end of the earth to the other, and there you will worship other gods, of wood and stone, which neither you nor your fathers have known. You will find no peace among those nations, and there will be no resting place for the sole of your foot. There the Lord will give you a trembling heart, failing eyes, and a despondent spirit. Your life will hang in doubt before you. You will be in dread night and day, never certain of survival. HCSB. This has been the picture of the diasporic Jews down through the ages when they disobeyed God and were put out of their land, but God is not done with Israel. God is going to gather his special possession one day and return remnant Israel to their promised land. This is a glorious picture of the providence of God in the lives of his ancient people, and just as God is not through with the nation Israel, God is not through with you and he is not through with me. This section has a message for us. For the lessons in this psalm are not just about Israel, it speaks to us also. Just as God reached down in the wilderness and brought them into the promised land in the past, someday he will once again bring them out of the world and back into the land. He will do the same for me and you, his adopted children and the wild olive branch grafted in, if he hasn't already done so. When they cried unto the Lord and the Israelites began to pray emphatically, when the eyes of all were as the eyes of one man who turned to the Lord, then God delivered them out of their distresses and brought them to Judea. When God hears the prayers of the faithful and righteous, he will lead them forth by the right way, through the narrow gate and onto the only road leading to deliverance. Metaphorically, that path leads to the New Jerusalem, which will be the city of our eternal habitation, but in the physical realm for the Jew, it is a reference to Palestine, and more specifically Jerusalem, and for us Christians, it is the path to walking out our role of ambassadorship as delegates of Christ.